College buddies Carter Crutchfield and Patrick Dauphin went camping in North Alabama with a few friends.
I found the perfect, most beautiful campsite right over this 60-foot valley, and I thought it'd be perfect.
Everything was going as planned. The tents were up, the campfire was burning.
Then the fire starts to die down, and I guess that's where the incident starts to happen.
The guys split up to look for more firewood.
Had a big limb that I put behind the fire, and so I was jumping on top of it to try to get it to crack, and either one or two things happened, and one was I couldn't get it to break and it acted as a springboard and threw me backwards, or it broke before I was expecting, and then it cracked, and then I fell backwards after losing my balance.
I knew something was wrong, and I looked up, and Carter wasn't to be seen, so I knew immediately what had happened.
Carter fell 60 feet into the river below, bouncing off a smaller ledge on the way down.
I told Miller to immediately go get cell phone service and try to call for help. It would take me 2 minutes to get down to that smaller ledge, realized he wasn't there. So I immediately backtracked, ran back through. Finally, after about 3-4 minutes, made my way back to the river.
Carter wasn't floating, so Patrick searched under the water.
After 2 or 3 times of feeling, I kicked something movable object. I knew what it was. Brought Carter to the surface. And it didn't even look like Carter. From that moment on, I thought he was dead.
Patrick and Keith pulled Carter to the edge of the water. Patrick started CPR.
8 minutes passed. I was getting tired. Keith Gray and I swapped positions. I held him up on the rock, held his neck stable, and he began the chest compressions. After a few more minutes, we swapped again. Then we heard this gurgling noise. It sounded, it was just like almost like a drain, water going down a drain.
They did CPR for 12 minutes until Carter started to breathe. Then he only took 1 shallow breath per minute. Carter's shoulder blade was visible. His ear was partially torn off, but the most life-threatening injury was 2 collapsed lungs. The paramedics and a helicopter arrived 45 minutes after the accident. At the hospital, the doctors had his parents fill out organ donor forms.
The surgeon basically told us that his condition was grave and that his chances of survival were slim. We're guessing that he was oxygen deprived somewhere between 20 minutes or more. So a long time. The guidance that we were being given from the medical staff early on was that some level of serious cognitive impairment was to be expected.
Carter made it through the night, but Patrick and Carter's dad knew prayer was their only hope.
Right when we got there, Mr. Crutchfield led us into a prayer, and he started a website, or posting at a website called caringbridge.org, and where he posted Carter's updates and put specific things to pray for.
And so we'd only put, 4 or 5 specific requests each update. But here's where the miracle was, is that each, and I'm going to get emotional because between each update, the specific requests were being answered. So there was no question that he was answering our petitions.
Every single prayer, everything he said to pray for actually miraculously came true. I think I looked one time and he had been posting it for a couple of days and there was over 1,300 responses.
There was this intimacy that I can only envision as being what heaven is going to be like in some way, right? Because you just had this, you knew that these people were praying for you and your family, and there was the common bond of Christ that was connecting us.
After 2 weeks, Carter woke from a coma.
He was himself when he woke up. It was truly, from our perspective, miraculous.
I feel like it really was a miracle, just to the simple stats that the doctors gave and the chances they gave me for survival, and just falling 60 to 65 feet off a cliff and surviving. I feel like just the fact that God allowed me to survive and kind of gave that opportunity to me is a miracle.
God heard the prayers of all these people on our behalf to pray for our son, and he answered them, and to his glory.